Ryder. Twin B Joe Fresh is a once-in-a-lifetime horse, and then to come right back with Miki and Minnie, it's truly remarkable. And I don't know if we've ever seen it. I mean, there's been other stables, obviously, that have had, more than one great pacing mare, but to get this caliber back-to-back, it might be a first.
Okay, here's my question about Twin B Joe Fresh. What did you think of her limb effort? Obviously, first start of the season, so you could chalk it up to, hey, she needed that one, but are you seeing, have enough belief in her to come right back here in take two and step up and win?
I do, for a couple of reasons. She's Twin B Joe Fresh, first of all, and that guy in the driver's seat as well. Look at the power on her. Look at the back end, how high it is, and that's where she drives all of her power when you watch her go. She just has that straight ahead, perfect gait, really, and she's so tactically versatile that you can do anything you want with her and any kind of a trip scenario, and she'll capitalize. So yeah, she needed the start. Who knows, maybe she has lost a half a step. I guess she'll tell us that tonight, but I would not discount her at all. I wouldn't say that's an automatic like it has been so many times in the last couple of years, but by the same token, if you're playing especially multi-leg wagers or you're playing tonight on track, I would not leave her out.
I'm looking at the tote board right now. It tells me that Miki and Minnie is the current favorite at 3-2. So it's the stablemate of Twin B Joe Fresh. James MacDonald. What I found interesting last week was, yes, Dex knew he couldn't drive her in the final, but with elimination, she wasn't racing against Twin B Joe Fresh. He could have driven Miki and Minnie last week, but they thought, hey, if we're going to need a driver in the final, let's let that individual have a chance to sit behind her in the elimination. James MacDonald took full advantage of that. 4-year-old season, that's her first win. She's got a couple starts under her belt, and I know we always talk about the transition from 3 to 4 and how tough it can be, but there's something about this mare. I don't think it's going to be much of a learning curve for her.
I don't think so, and I think she's shown that already. If she doesn't take a step forward off of last week's effort, she's still going to be a player in this division all season long. But I only see her getting better, so she looks like she's ready to take over the mantle from Twin B Joe Fresh, who you've got to think is probably going to be winding things down. I'm not sure if this will be her last season or not, but as great as she is on the racetrack, the connections have got to be anxious to mate her now with one of the top stallions in the sport and try and find that next champion. So Miki and Minnie looks more than capable at this point to jump up and take over the mantle. And what a lineup for James MacDonald tonight, coming into the night with horses like Miki and Minnie, and obviously odds on Mr. Mamba later on.
We do have to quickly touch on Louies Girl. I've talked about how this mare is really stepping up now to go into these big Grade 1 races, and hey, she's been racing terrific, so we'll see what she can do in her biggest task to date. Set to go as the gate's in motion. 10 of the best pacing mares in the game set to clash. The roses are red. Here's Chad with the call.
Slightly favored over Louies Girl, a first over a limb winner herself, and Twin B Joe Fresh, winner of this event in the past 2 years, on the outside at 3-1. They're lined up now. Race number 8, here they come. At the start, and they're off in the Roses Are Red final. The last Martini leaving out of there. Sharply to the inside, though, both Skywalker C and Grit and Grace. So McNair's going to try to take a tuck third with the last Martini. Miki and Minnie to the inside fourth. Outside of that one, parked to the opening turn, is done with Twin B Joe Fresh. And then we go back to Louies Girl. Settling behind her is Rodeo Drive Dale, Tuck Curdy to Me, Always Dawn, and Early Trailer Absolution. Skywalker C and Todd McCarthy leading the way into the backstretch after a 26 flat opening quarter. Grit and Grace follows her in the pocket. Another 2 lengths to the last Martini third. Twin B Joe Fresh, she took a seat in fourth in front of Miki and Minnie. And then it's Louies Girl to the inside, Tuck Curdy to Me. Rodeo Drive Dale swings to the outside from the back. She'll be fourth over as Dunn's now first up with Twin B Joe Fresh. Miki and Minnie rides her cover second over, then Louies Girl. Fourth over, Rodeo Drive Dale. Always Dawn to the inside. Absolution still trails halfway home in 54-1. Skywalker C still the leader. Grit and Grace in behind her. Twin B Joe Fresh inching closer, length and a half away as Skywalker C lets it out a bit here heading to the final turn. Second over, Miki and Minnie ready to pounce to the inside. Fifth, the last Martini. Then Louies Girl set to swing wide for Bartlett. Rodeo Drive Dale following her 120, 101 to 3/4. And they turn for home. And the roses are red. And it's Skywalker C with the lead. But they're coming after her now. Here off cover is Miki and Minnie. And Miki and Minnie explodes here. Now Louies Girl closing at her. And McNair dives to the inside with the last Martini. Here's Miki and Minnie. The last Martini renewing their rivalry. But Miki and Minnie will drive on to the win. It's Miki and Minnie and the Rose are red over the last Martini. Louies Girl and Talk Curdy to Me in 1:48 and 1.
Well, those mares, they squared off in the Breeders' Crown last year, finishing in a dead heat for win. Miki and Minnie in the last Martini, and very similar, we're seeing those two coming down to the wire here in the Roses Are Red, but they're not going to need the photo finish camera tonight. It's Miki and Minnie, another perfect second over trip from James MacDonald, and she wins the Roses Are Red.
And needed that trip, Mark, to get there. And, full marks to James MacDonald for mapping it out. And a great effort again from last Martini, diving to the inside. Had she not had to kind of take that left-hand turn to the inside, lose a bit of momentum, she might have made it interesting. But you know what? She did get to the saddle pad and no further. I think Miki and Minnie, once she was engaged, they weren't going to go by her tonight. So, yeah, it looks like she is ready to take over the throne as queen of the division this season. Twinbee Joe Fresh, yeah, a bit lackluster by her standards again tonight.
Yeah, first up, and it was one of those races as they were getting into the first turn, you could just tell where everybody was hoping to get. James definitely wanted to be behind the stablemate. The last Martini, Doug McNair was really chasing her into the first turn to try and get her up ahead, and she ends up landing third. Just the way that race ends up shaking out, I mean, if you're James, it goes exactly according to plan. If you're Dexter Dunn, you're probably, hey, we're going to have to be first up, but we've done this before, and I'm not saying, we're not premature here in saying, oh, Twinbee Joe Fresh is done, but hey, she's had a lot of miles under her belts. That first up trip, it's tough.
It is, so we'll see that. But the connections, they know her better than anybody. They'll do by right to her.
Let's get down to John Rallis with winning driver James MacDonald.
Miki and Minnie, she gets it done here in the Roses Are Red final on a lifetime best 148 and 1. I'm here alongside winning driver James MacDonald. James, another picture-perfect trip for you that you got a chance to work out back-to-back weeks aboard her. Is that exactly? Did you map that race? Try to map that race out that way?
Well, I mean, you dream of it working out like that. You always want that, but it rarely works. But like I said to Chris before, when you have a great horse, I find they find good trips on their own. She's such a special mare, and it's just been a privilege to get to sit behind her.
Last year, she showed us all season long that she's a mare that just is so tough to pass. You had a mare coming to your inside, you had a mare coming to your outside. Did she just swell up the moment that those two were coming at her?
Yeah, it's one thing to see them race and do it all the time, but another thing to sit behind them. And, I knew she probably would kick back on, but I knew I had two good ones chasing her, and I was just really happy that she kept digging.
You've continued to build your resume over the last few years. This is another drive that you get to pick up for a top stable and a top mare in the division. I mean, just how appreciative are you about the opportunities?
You dream of drives like this and horses like this, and I'm just a really lucky guy trying to do his best, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't, but just keep working hard and do all you can, and I'm happy to be here.
Well,